When I'm asked about what my favorite game of all time is, it will always be an array of answers, such as Team Fortress 2 for its unique characters, powerful community, and its constant replayability. Or Super Mario Sunshine for the endless replayability it has, unique areas, and just the most stellar voice acting you could ever get in video games. I could make a whole video on why this is one of my favorite games of all time. And damn, you know, I'll admit, I even enjoy Persona 5. But if there was one game that I would say is my favorite now in the year 2025, it would probably still be The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. And I know this game gets some flack online. Trust me, I've seen it all. But I can't lie to you. This shit is fire. And obviously it's not perfect, I get that. I'm very aware about it. But to me, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Period. And funny enough, before... No, we can't do that in the actual recording. And funny enough, before Tears of the Kingdom released, I would have told you Breath of the Wild was in my top 5 favorite games of all time, next to these 4 giant juggernauts of video games. Now, a little backstory. Before Breath of the Wild, I had very little experience with the Zelda series, of which games I played prior to Breath of the Wild. I beat Majora's Mask on 3DS, Link Between Worlds, and the Wii Crossbow game, which I played for like 5 minutes and thought it was absolute dog shit. But I never got a chance to play any of the other big 3D Zelda games like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and even Ocarina of Time, aside from the 5-minute brawl demo I gave you. But going from my last memory of Zelda, which was Majora's Mask back in, what, 2015? To Breath of the Wild in 2017 was some of the wildest shit in my life. It was a brand new world, a brand new step forward for the Zelda series, never done before. This post-apocalyptic world of Hyrule that was once sprawling and had no problems whatsoever, hiding underneath our noses. I was at the perfect age as well to play Breath of the Wild, and it resonated with me on a personal level. Which, that to me, is all that it needed to be. It was such a beautiful game. Hell, dare I say, a breath of fresh air. And when they announced the sequel in 2019 at E3, I was ecstatic. One of my favorite games of all time was finally getting a sequel, and the wait was both exciting and extremely unbearable. Which is why, in the meantime, I 100%ed Breath of the Wild and wanted to get myself ready for the sequel. And now, almost a year after it released, it's time to finally 100%. Now, when I originally 100% in Breath of the Wild, I only did the map percentage, but I'm going all in this time. 1,000 Koroks, 135 armor pieces, 152 shrines, 120 light roots, 509 compendium pictures, 250 something bosses killed, all 81 Hudson signs, 20 sages, every schema stone, every Yiga schematic, all Zonite batteries, all 40 shops / Fortnite POIs, I don't know, all 30 device dispensers, all 220 plus discoverable name locations, all Zonite devices, all 190 plus caves, all 147 bubble gems, all 139 side quests, all horse armor, all old maps, all 18 memories, all Skyview towers, all wells, and all... and owls... well, what the fuck is that? I don't even know what that is. I am going all out just this once. Now, this may be a very consuming task, about 300 hours of your life, kind of consuming, but the more I started working towards the 100% goal, I started finding more and more things I just didn't even know were a thing in the game, which while this was very exciting, it slowly became more and more overwhelming. But the best plan I had was to, part 1, play the game. I'm not even kidding, this was the best idea I had the entire time. Like, this is almost a 100-hour game in of itself. There is so much to do, so much to see, and hey, there's nothing wrong with taking to back streets. Like, I could have beaten this game in just over an hour if I wanted to, and started doing things from there, but I already did that, so I have no excuse. But if you want, play this game however your heart desires. Now, I'm a big connoisseur when it comes to immersing myself into video games, like Lethal Company. Part 2. The story. Actually, no, let's talk about something else. Listen, this video might be 20 to 30 minutes of me glazing Tears of the Kingdom for all of its positives, but I'm aware of this game's negatives and that moments in the story that just don't make a lot of sense, and many other things you can find people talk about online. But truth be told, it's out of my pay grade to talk about the problems of this game. So let's talk about one of the upgrades for Tears of the Kingdom. Part 3. The abilities actually rock. Now, this might actually be a bit of a hot take, but I did not care for the abilities in Breath of the Wild outside of the bomb. And neither did Nintendo by the sound of it, because the abilities, Sheikah Slate, Tech, Shrines, Towers, and Guardians are just gone. No reason. Just fucking happened. Thankfully, most of the abilities in Tears of the Kingdom are complete upgrades of their old moves, such as Ultra Hand, which instead of just picking up metal items like you could in Breath of the Wild, you can pick up almost anything from wood, certain enemy body parts, the second Paper Mario Color Splash video. Oh wait, maybe maybe don't pick that one up. But as long as it doesn't have a pulse, you can pick it up. Ascend. Once a move made for the devs to get out of caves quicker, then turned into one of the best inclusions in the game. It helps shave off all that backtracking in caves and hell, even dungeons, which, you know, we'll talk about later. Then we have Fuse, the best ability of them all. The developers heard all of your complaints about durability and combat and said, you know what, fuck it. You make your own weapons. Oh wow, this is great. Did you fix the combat at least? Here's a buff room. The fuck do I do with it? Rewind. Now this one lets you move every single object in the entire game back in time, from wood, certain enemy body parts, the second Paper Mario video, oh, but buzz off, and the secret ability, auto build, letting you rebuild any previous constructions you made from your first car to a minefield to a F-14 Tomcat, like you're in Top Gun. What the hell is this? Oh, and you also have the other ability as well. You suck when it comes to getting 100%. You're only used for 1.0.0, and you are a waste of money. Part 4. This map is so big. How do I move around? Holy shrimp. This map is huge. And now, thanks to the depths and the Sky Islands, this map is made even more interesting. But how would you travel around such a great and expansive place? If you think it, you can make it. From working cars to a torture device to a fucking TIE fighter from Star Wars. Now remember, people, we're here to 100% this game, so having a good way to travel is super important. Like, there's a lot of ground to cover as it is, and getting all the name locations and getting all the Koroks along with everything else I mentioned. But if we want to get the 100% quickly, we need to optimize our time. So I present to you the undisputed GOAT for travel. A bike.
That was the wrong way. Wait, flip it down.
Ah.
There you go.
No, I'm just fucking with you. It's the TIE Fighter. Part 5. Fuck the 100% goal. Listen, this game is big and there's a lot to do, from getting all the bubble frogs, caves, Koroks, Hudson signs, and all the bosses. So really the best thing to do at the moment is to get the Korok mask. And honestly, whenever you come across a Korok, trust me, just get it. You'll thank me later. And since there are 1,000 of these guys and hundreds of different things to complete, I would honestly suggest using a tracker so you don't have to go to repeat areas and waste your time. The best one to probably use is Zelda maps. It tracks not only everything in Tears of the Kingdom, but in Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild, and I'm assuming eventually Echoes of Wisdom. And hey, I got 1,000 Koroks to collect, so if I don't want to do some of them, we'll improvise. Part 5.1, Sages suck. I would argue now that we are familiar with what we need to do for the most part, I would say we need to start working towards the Sages, this game's version of the champions. And I'm going to be honest, most of these I can live with. Actually, not. Hold up. Yep, you seem about right. Shit. All right, better. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Most of these Sage abilities outside of Toolins are complete dog water. I have no use for Sidon, Riju, Yonobo, or Minoru. Sidon gives you just a little water projectile, which is kind of useful in some rare scenarios.
What the fuck? You can do that?
Riju gives you a Bosa's Fury, but a bit more mid, and it can only be activated if you shoot a bow within the yellow area. Yonobo, fuck you. And Minoru, honestly, was the biggest disappointment in this entire game. But you know what the worst thing is about all this? When you get all 5 Sages out at once, what the hell is this? Am I part of like a sitcom? Am I part of the Big Bang Theory or something? What the hell is this? The screen becomes too cluttered with these guys running around, and honestly, it gets a little overwhelming. Riju, you bitch, get over it. Part 6. The world. Outside of the surface, we've got a whole lot of stuff to do, such as the Sky Islands. The Sky Islands, while being absolutely breathtaking, with some of the best set pieces and visuals I've ever seen in any Nintendo published video game. Even sometimes, almost after 2 years of playing this game, I still on occasion boot up the game, look at the sunrise and the sunset and go, damn. We need to switch to as soon as possible. Like, this is not even funny anymore. Then you have the depths, and I'm so glad they did not mention any of this in any of the promotional material. Upon finding this stuff for the first time, it was an almost out-of-body experience. And then you keep going through the depths, and you keep going, and you keep going, and not only do you realize it's a complete invert of the surface, it's also really, really boring. There are like 2 side quests, one with Master Koga, which, spoiler alert, he's back. But even then, that only lasts about 2 to 4 hours depending on how you approach it. And it all looks the exact same, aside from the final area, but I'm getting ahead of myself admittedly. The best advice I can give you is to stock up on Bright Bloom seeds to help you get around this place, because if you couldn't tell, this place is dark. Now, I know you're probably asking the question of how do I make my way around without being able to see? And no, It's not the lens of truth, the light roots. Yes, there are exactly 120 of these bad boys down, scattered all throughout the depths, which are connected to all the shrines on the surface, which, when activating a light root, it lights up a certain chunk of the depths, which, speaking of shrines, this is a really good cutaway. Part 7. The Shine Sprites. 120 shrines on the surface and 32 in the sky. Now, some of the ways you get to these shrines are actually quite enjoyable. Some of them you have to grab a gem on distant sky islands, others are locked behind a small quest. Some require you to line up shadows, which, let's be honest, none of us figured that out without a YouTube tutorial. But the actual quest themselves... my God. What a mixed bag of absolute peak game design and complete slop. Some of the shrines in this game are some of my favorite quests in the series, bar none. From being stripped of all your stuff akin to Child of Sword DLC in Breath of the Wild, shrine that puts you in low gravity and gives you a shield and bombs, and, well, you know the rest. Committing a crime of hit and run and driving in low gravity? Really, the only thing missing here is Keith David and a lady in my head who keeps calling me Stud Muffin.
Please leave me alone.
But then you get some real fucking stinkers like Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing and
Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing and Raru's Blessing.
Look, I love a lot of these shrine designs as much as the next guy, but I feel like there are way too many Raru Blessing shrines in this game. But to counter that, the quests to get to these are at least interesting enough, but most of them are locked behind the gem that you have to carry from either a distant island, from the bottom of a mountain to the top. Like, they aren't puzzles, but almost as much of an inconvenience for yourself. If there is one thing I would have changed, it would have without a doubt been cutting the shrine counter in half to give us some better designed shrines, or give us temples as good as the ones in Majora's Mask or even Skyward Sword. Which, speaking of things I would have changed, let's talk about something I'm so glad I finally get off my chest. Part 8. The story. Actually, no, not yet. The temples still suck. Ah! Alright, I'm gonna get some flack for this one, bear with. Boom, boom. We bring the boom, boom, boom. Yeah. You can argue that one in the comments, I don't care. Yeah, so whoever designed the Divine Beast in Breath of the Wild clearly stayed on the development team, because if I'm being real, these just are not it, bro. I enjoy the Fire Temple despite hating the character with a burning passion. Get it? The Thunder Temple's actually not that bad, all things considered. The Water Temple has Sidon, the Wind Temple has a really fun build-up and boss music, and the Spirit Temple, technically speaking, is just one room with the boss. But I think the game sets its priority on the journey rather than the destination. That's why the process for most of the dungeons are some of the best in the series. But the temples, for lack of better words, they're shit. The Spirit Temple probably being the worst example of this. The secret 5th dungeon of the game, where you have to do all these other locations, which is fun in its own respect. Find Minoru's construct head, which has a spirit stuck inside, and we have to turn her into a fully operating Gundam, which, admittedly, all this is amazing as shit, and just one of the examples of the 4 other temples in this game. The actual dungeon itself, it's just one singular room. Most previous Zelda games would have you do a bunch of stuff to get to the dungeon, and they would be layered with so much content inside, where in Tears of the Kingdom, the temples just don't have that. Even some of the better temples, like the Wind Temple, scale in comparison to fucking Skyward Swords. If there is one change I would have made to this game, without a doubt, it would have been the design of the dungeons. The biggest problem as well is if you can actually find all these temples on your own by exploring the game, when you come across it for the first time, it's cool as shit. But you can't do anything until you're accompanied by the champion of that region. In its own singular vacuum, this is fine for the sake of the story, but for an open world game, being restricted because the fucking hot fish isn't with you seems completely redundant and defeats the whole point of this game being open world. Part 9. Tourism in Hyrule. There are a lot of things in this game, from different enemies, weapons, animals, food, treasure, the second Paper Mario video, and one of our goals is to take over 500 different pictures in this game, and honestly, this item I'm about to tell you is an absolute lifesaver. The moment you stop speaking to Purah and you get the paraglider, part 9.1, get the camera right out of the gate, you need to trust me on this. Trust me, this thing is an absolute godsend, not only because you can take pictures of Purah and put it on your wall in your house, but because you get access to the item tracker, which can help you find things such as shrines, weapons, fairies, and so much more. But Nintendo made the mistake of letting us cheat the system by buying almost every single picture in the game, aside from some bosses and a secret item locked behind a side quest. But these images are expensive, costing tens of thousands of rupees total. So how do we get past this? Part 10. So, fun fact, in almost every version of this game, you can completely break the economy by duplicating almost anything. I won't go into how to duplicate in each version of this game, as I'm sure there are hundreds of videos out there teaching you how to do so. But basically, once you've done your duplication, everything I said about taking pictures, yeah, just don't even bother. Part 11. Too many clothes for me to worry about. Yeah, so this one I was kind of dreading a lot before starting this. 135 unique costumes to find and discover in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I'm going to be honest, I would have gone ahead and upgraded all this stuff to the max stats, but fuck that, this is my video, not yours. Part 12. The Legend of Zelda. Tears of the Sims. I don't really have a lot to say here if I'm being honest. I just really enjoy building a house and calling it my home. Obviously, this isn't as immersive as building a house in Red Dead 2, but hey, it's close. Seeing all the other ideas people have come up with, from building hotels, flying houses to a tall building? Wait, what was that? Part 13. The story. Nah, I'm just kidding. The combat. Breath of the Wild's combat was already pretty damn good, but anyone with a frontal lobe knows that its biggest drawback was the durability being so ass on all of your weapons. Bro, I just started using this weapon. What the fuck? I just started using this weapon, man. Wait, is this sort of about to break? Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Bro, half my weapons are gone. It got to a point where I just didn't want to start a fight with anything, as I was worried I would lose some of my best weapons I had. In most cases, I would just end up using my Master Sword, which already dealt 60 damage per swing and came back every 10 minutes. But in Tears of the Kingdom, the durability, for the most part, is completely gone, thanks to Fuse. We can make our original rusty weapons from something that can only deal maybe 10 to 15 damage to these freaks of nature. If paired correctly with the right things, we can deal almost 200 damage per swing. The best combo I would honestly suggest is the Evil Spirit Armor, any clean weapon you can find in the depths, and a Molduga Jaw. And if you land a backshot on any opposing enemy, you can deal hundreds of damage a swing, almost one-shotting most enemies in the game. Now, how do we learn a sneak attack in the heat of a combat, I hear you type? Well, you remember that thing Inuma gave us however long ago that was? Well,
I've been waiting for this.
yeah, so somehow they managed to make combat better thanks to Fuse, but kind of made the skill of combat completely obsolete thanks to the puff shrooms. You can blind any enemy in this game that isn't a boss. Moblins, nothing. Lizalfos, done. Lionels, like the Lionels, like they're not even there. Then you have the bow combat, which, God, don't even get me started. It hasn't changed much from Breath of the Wild aside from Fuse, but thanks to one item, the skill of aiming is a thing of the past. Key size. These will track any enemy's weak point. Gleeoks, Bokoblins, Hinoxes, Ganon, the second Paper Mario video. Hey! No. You name the enemy, it will almost 10 out of 10 times hit it straight in the face. I want to love the combat in this game, but if most of the interactions in this game are made boring thanks to these two items, and yes, I can simply not use them and world peace would have been a thing, but it's like an abusive relationship. No matter how hard you try to step away from it, you always find yourself coming back no matter what. Yes, I think the combat in this game is now the best in the series, even though very little was changed. The key size and puff streams honestly made the combat feel so brain dead. Well, at least you don't have to go for a crappy slow UI. Oh no. Part 14. Cleanup. Now that we have been over almost everything in the game, we just need to do some final cleaning up. Finishing any pictures we need to get, side quests that are incomplete, Hudson signs, stone tablets, getting all the upgraded Zono batteries, getting all the Zono parts, missing name locations. Alright, that seems like we're all done. I really can't think of anything else that we need to... Oh. Oh no. Okay, so we might have one more thing left to do. Part 15. I mean the story, sorry. This game is honestly the definitive Zelda story. Like, I mean, come on. This is the Zelda series. Of course they have some damn good writing. The opening feels like the perfect opening for anyone that isn't a speedrunner. I'm so glad that Nintendo went with this as the opening. Zelda and Link exploring beneath Hyrule Castle, learning about the Zonai, discovering the murals of the battle that started 10 bajillion years ago, and coming across the remains of the great evil King Ganondorf. And just when you thought you were doing this journey with Zelda... Well... At least I got Prologue. Zelda is sent back to the past while we're still stuck in the present. And every now and then we get to take a peek at what Zelda gets to experience back in the past, thanks to the return of the memories. Although now they're called geoglyphs, scattered across all of Hyrule. I will say part of me is glad they still kept the memories, but fuck me, man. I would have killed to have played in the shoes of Zelda, or at least seen a bit more of what happened, because that stuff looks so much better than what we got. And funny enough, it's actually taken me so long to make this video. Nintendo is making a Hyrule Warriors game of Tears of the Kingdom with Zelda stuck in the past. One thing the memories have in TOTK over Breath of the Wild are without a doubt the huge geoglyphs you get to find out in Hyrule. Which, while they're cool, Breath of the Wild to some extent did it a little bit better. Looking at your Sheikah Slate for a location to find the memory was a little more interesting than the geoglyphs, but some of the locations were kind of stupid, like, what am I playing? Like, GeoGuessr, what is this? And you know, they still did it. They still give you the choice to find the memories in the wrong order. Why? I went from doing the memories in order to meeting Minoru with Zelda to then having Ganondorf giving the craziest backshots to Sonya, like... What? That should have been me! But outside of that, you guys, they did it. They gave Zelda, the character, a compelling story. Zelda has always been a really cool character, no matter what game she's been a part of. Even in Breath of the Wild, decimating Calamity Ganon. And in this game, taking the lead of rebuilding Hyrule with Link. Going with Link beneath Hyrule Castle, and showing how much she has grown as a character. And even from the moment we lose her and is sent back to the past, she does everything she can to make sure she gets her way home. Because she knows Link can do it. And to put the cherry on top, she's been with us the whole game. And you would never realize, because you see that? Find Princess Zelda? Yeah, spoilers. She's right there. Roll the credits. I think Breath of the Wild is a great story, but it doesn't put a lot of focus on Zelda's powers, as it's her discovering what she can do. But in Tears of the Kingdom, it's her fully embracing her powers thanks to the Infinity Stone she receives from Ryu's decapitated arm in the prologue. She uses all the power within her to swallow the stone whole and draconify herself, lying in wait for thousands of years for just the right moment. Which, in a way, the same could be said about Ganondorf, who also lied in wait for thousands of years to get his revenge on those that kept him in captivity and sacrificing everything for just a slight chance of victory. And then you have Link. He didn't have to lie in wait, no, he arguably had to do something even worse. Like gathering all 1,000 Korok seeds, 152 shrines, 509 companion pictures, 250 bosses, all huts and signs, sages, wheels, schema stones, schematics, name locations, skyview towers, caves, memories, 250 side quests, all Zono batteries, full upgrades, all 130 armor pieces. And after all of that, 300 to 400 hours of gameplay later, this is, without a doubt, one of my favorite games of all time. This is normally the part of the video where I would give you my thoughts and opinions on everything in this game, but you've heard all the things I love about this game, from the story, characters, making per an adult, building mechanics, the last hour of this game, from the exploration in Ganon's gloom hole, which honestly sounds a bit like a gay porno, to the 1v2 as two giant dragons brawl out in the sky. Those are just a few of the highlights in my personal opinion, and this game's low points as well, and just stuff I'll never understand, like the shrine designs being easily exploitable with a rocket shield, temple designs still being absolute dogshit, sage abilities being very underwhelming, as well as the Skylands and the depths. But despite my gripes and grievances with this game, this is still within my top 25 games of all time. And there are still a lot of things I didn't even get the chance to cover, like all the different fabrics you can get for your paraglider. I did actually go out of my way to get all the non-amiibo versions of the paraglider fabrics, because let's be honest, getting the amiibo exclusives are way too expensive, and I already don't make any money off these videos, so cut me just the tiniest bit slack, please. Killing all the bosses in this game, but that was because it was more of a repetitive procedure. But I did still go out of my way anyway to do all this anyway, because this game, man, it's just that good. When I started this project all the way back on January 6th, 2024, I didn't think it would take me over an entire year to get to this point. Not because I'm lazy, no, that's only half the reason, but because I didn't even know what to say about this game. And I still don't really know what to say. Do I regret doing this? No. Do I regret the amount of time I put into this? Absolutely not. No. Do I think you should do this? No. Go play Color Splash or something. I don't know. Part 17. Breath of the Wild Switch 2 Enhanced Edition. Nintendo's completely ruined this video, because recently we had the Switch 2 presentation. You know, we saw the new Donkey Kong game, new Kirby, new Mario Kart 80-pound games. You're awesome, right? You know, we love that. They showed off one additional thing, which actually makes the whole point of this video completely and utterly pointless, or at least a lot of the things about this video. They announced Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions. And this is great, you know, I'll admit, they do look pretty damn good, but this also means that with these Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they're adding achievements. They're adding achievements to Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild via the smartphone app. This is where the problem lies. This is now bonus additional content. So if I really want to 100% this game, I gotta wait till June 5th for that stupid game to release on that stupid console that no one's gonna buy because it's too expensive. How's this fair? It's not. It ain't fair. So if they want me to wait till June 5th to release that video, to release this video, they got no fucking chance. You know, why the hell not? I may as well just make Tears of the Kingdom Jdog 100%. Switch 2 edition. You know what? Fucking while we're there, let's make a Breath of the Wild Switch 2 version. Why not?